Hey folks, Chris Rich, AZ Fly Shop, your community fly shop. Welcome back. You bet. Are fly rod reviews worth anything? I'm not sure. Folks, I was in a discussion last night on Facebook with a fly fishing group. Someone posed the question, hey, I'm thinking about getting a creek rod for fishing small spring creeks. Tell me your favorite rod. I chimed in, I gave my 2 cents, and here's my feeling, here's my 2 cents. Folks, we've got over 500 different fly rods in stock at AZ Fly Shop. I've been fly fishing for over 45 years. I've got a ton of fly rods. I fished a lot of different fly rods. I enjoy fishing different fly rods just to get a feel of what they feel like. Now, what I do know for certain, when you're reading a review, you're reading someone else's opinion about that fly rod. You don't know what their casting style is. You don't know what their preferred fishing style is. And I take people to the park every week and we're casting 4, 5, 6, 7 different fly rods in one setting. And people generally, when they're casting these different rods, one right after the other, one of those rods, they'll light up. You can see the smile come on their face. You can see their casting stroke matches that rod. All of a sudden, their loops go from being real wide open. They tighten up and they're like, this is it. This is the rod that I want to do. Folks, here's the thing. I think it's interesting reading to read these fly rod reviews. I also think when you read that fly rod review, it gives you a little bit of a bias towards what you read, right? You're gonna have an opinion about what you read. Here's how I would approach it. And this is how I've approached every fly rod that I've ever bought for myself. I wanna go to the shop and I wanna cast 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 different fly rods in that range, that price range that I'm looking at for the application that I'm going to be using that fly rod for. I want to let the rod pick me. So I don't come in saying, hey, I want this new rod that just came out. No. Let's go cast a bunch of different rods. Let's let the rod choose me and choose me for the application that I'm going to be using it for. Folks, for example, there's a huge contingent that loves fiberglass rods. We've got fiberglass rods here in the shop. People come in every day and they buy those fiberglass rods. They love them. I've tried to love fiberglass rods. I don't like fiberglass rods. I like a faster action rod. That's just my casting style. I don't think there's anything wrong with fiberglass rods. In fact, I'm glad that the people that like fiberglass rods can get a fiberglass rod that fits them and their casting style. When someone comes into the shop, here's our approach. First of all, what is the application? Where are you going to be doing most of your fishing? What kind of fishing are you going to be doing with this rod that we're looking at? Okay, what is your price range? Folks, we've got fly rods from under $200 to over $1,000. They're all great rods. I fished all of them. They're fantastic rods. However, you need to know what is that range that I want to be in. And now let's look in that range and let's look at rods that are likely going to work well for the application or where it is that you're going to be fishing. Again, folks, over 500 fly rods in the inventory in our shop. We've got little tiny creek rods. We've got all the way from those little tiny creek rods up to very fast action saltwater rods that you could go out and chase marlin with. Everything in between. And so to me, when you go to make your purchase of a fly rod, if you want to read a review, if you want to listen to reviews, go ahead and do that. Don't let that be your deciding factor. Understand, you're simply reading someone else's opinion. It may actually be your own opinion, but you don't know that until you put that fly rod in your hand. And what I would highly recommend is that you compare that rod, you cast it with other rods at the same time. If I pick up a fly rod today and I cast it, I guarantee every rod in this shop feels good. I've casted all of them. They all feel good. They're all fantastic rods. 3 days later, I go cast another fly rod. Am I going to really be able to compare the difference in those 2 fly rods? Probably not. What we do is we say, okay, here's your price range, here's your application. Listen, these 5, 6 rods are going to fit that range of price and that application that you're going to be using it for. Let's go to the park. Let's cast these rods. You're going to cast a rod. You're going to cast it for 5 to 10 minutes where you get a good feel of that rod. We're going to take the line off of it, the reel off of it. I'm going to put it onto the next rod. I'm going to put it in your hand. You're going to cast that rod. You like this one better than the last one? Yeah, I definitely like this one better. It feels like this, it's lighter, it does this, it does that. Usually somewhere in that casting demonstration, the person's face will light up when the fly rod goes into their hand. And I can see their face, all of a sudden, they smile, they come alive. And you can also see their casting stroke looks really smooth and really comfortable. And they've shortened up their loop, they've tightened up their loop, and that fits their style of casting. Folks, that's what I would highly recommend. If you're gonna go make an investment in a fly rod, go to a fly shop, go out and cast 3 or 4 different rods. Picking up one rod and casting it, I got news for you. We could take any of these 500 rods that we have in the shop, we could go cast them. All of them are gonna feel good. Now, at AZ Fly Shop, we've got 9 different brands of fly rods. We've got Sage, we've got Winston, we've got Scott rods, we've got Orvis, we've got Beulah, Taylor, Reddington, we've got Douglas fly rods, maybe Echo fly rods. They've got a lot of great fly rods. They're all great fly rods. They may not be the best rod for you. You gotta come in, you gotta cast these different rods, get a sense of what it feels like in your hand. After all, folks, it doesn't really matter what someone else's favorite rod is. The rod you're gonna buy is gonna be in your hand. It's not gonna be in their hand. It's in your hand, you're gonna be looking at it, you're gonna be fishing it, and you should have the rod that fits you. When I go to purchase a new fly rod, I don't pick the fly rod, I let the fly rod pick me. I go cast 4, 5, 6 different rods, and which one of these really fits me? I let the rod pick me. Hey folks, if you want to cast fly rods, stop by the shop. We're happy to go to the park with you. We're happy to take 4, 5, 6, 7 different rods, whatever we have in stock that's in that style of fishing you want to go after. And we're happy to let you go through that test for yourself so you can determine what's the best fit for me and how I'm going to be using this rod. Folks, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you at the shop.